Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm Hannah and in today's video we want to talk about another tense in English which is past perfect tense. سلام دوستان عزیزم، حنا هستم از تیم فرازبان و توی این ویدیو میخوایم در مورد یکی دیگه از زمانها در زبان انگلیسی با هم صحبت کنیم. زمان گذشته کامل. همونطور که با روال این ویدیو آشنا هستین، قرار این زمان رو در قالب یک داستان با هم مرور کنیم. سوال ساختن، جواب کوتاه دادن و اینها رو با هم تمرین کنیم. پس با من همراه باشید. Last night, John sang in a competition. Last night, John sang in a competition. دیشب جان توی یک مسابقه خوند، آواز خوند. همونطور که تو ویدیوهای قبلی هم این زمان رو با هم تمرین کردیم، زمان این جمله اول داستان ما گذشته ساده است. یک اتفاقی که در گذشته افتاد و تموم شد. فعل ما سنگ هست که یک فعل بیقاعده هست. بیقاعده ها همونطور که میدونید ایدی نمی گرفتن، فرمشون کلن عوض می شد و لازم بود که ما اونا رو حفظ باشیم. آواز خوندن میشه sing که گذشته سادش میشه sang. When did John sing in a competition? When did John sing in a competition? He sang in a competition last night. He sang in a competition last night. فعل کمکی در زمان گذشته ساده برای سوالی کردن و جواب منفی دادن did هست. این رو هم بلدی. Did he play the guitar in a competition? Did he play the guitar in a competition? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He sang in a competition. He sang in a competition. میخوایم این جمله رو با کلمه last Friday جاگذاری کنیم. میشه Last Friday John sang in a competition. Last Friday John sang in a competition. با dance یعنی فعل رو میخوایم از sing که گذشتش میشد sang تبدیل کنیم به dance. میدونیم که dance یک فعل با قاعده است و فقط لازمه چون خودش ای داره لازمه یک دی بهش اضافه کنیم. پس میشه Last Friday John danced in a competition. Last Friday John danced in a competition. حالا همین رو منفی کنیم. توی اسلاید قبلی گفتیم اگه بخوایم منفی کنیم یا سوال بسازیم تو گذشته ساده به فعل کمکی did نیاز داریم. پس میشه Last Friday John didn't dance in a competition. Last Friday John didn't dance in a competition. وقتی که فعل did فعل کمکی did می اومد دیگه به فعل اصلیمون دی نباید یا دی یا ایدی نباید اضافه میکردیم، چون به اصطلاح میگیم که دید دی فعل رو دزدیده. Didn't dance. Let's move to the next sentence. He sang a beautiful song. He sang a beautiful song. اون یه آهنگ زیبا خوند. زمان این جمله هم باز گذشته ساده است، چون یک اتفاقی در گذشته افتاده و تموم شده. اون آهنگ رو خونده و خوندن اون آهنگ تموم شده. باز هم گذشته sing میشه sang که بیقاعده است. What did he sing? What did he sing? He sang a beautiful song. He sang a beautiful song. Did he sing a bad song? Did he sing a bad song? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He sang a beautiful song. He sang a beautiful song. جمله رو جایگذاری کنیم با I sang a beautiful song. I sang a beautiful song. حالا میخوایم بگیم من یه نامه نوشتم. داریم فعلمون رو تبدیل میکنیم به write. میدونیم که write هم یک فعل بیقاعده است و باید بلد باشیم گذشتهش رو که میشه wrote. I wrote a beautiful letter. I wrote a beautiful letter. برای منفی کردنش میدونیم didn't میخوایم. I didn't write a beautiful letter و بعد از didn't هم فعلمون ساده است. I didn't write a beautiful letter. توی این جمله که جمله سوم هست میخوایم بریم سراغ تنسی که قراره امروز یاد بگیریم. He had practiced for 6 months before he sang in the competition. He had practiced for 6 months before he sang in a competition. قبل از اینکه تو مسابقه بخونه مدت 6 ماه تمرین کرده بود. این زمان ماضی بعید در واقع، چیزی که تو فارسی بهش میگیم ماضی بعیده. یعنی یک اتفاقی که توی گذشته قبل تر از یک اتفاق دیگه افتاده. یعنی ما 2 تا اتفاق تو گذشته داریم، اونی که قبل تر اتفاق افتاده میشه ماضی بعید. ما اینجا بیاین اینجوری با هم بررسیش کنیم که 2 تا اتفاق اینجا داریم. تو مسابقه خونده تو گذشته، قبل از اینکه تو مسابقه بخونه 6 ماه تمرین کرده بوده. کدوم زودتر اتفاق افتاده؟ اون 6 ماه تمرین کردن. اول 6 ماه تمرین کرده بعدن خونده. پس اون 6 ماه تمرین کردنی که قبل از خوندنش اتفاق افتاده میشه ماضی بعید or past perfect. Look at the structure. How do we form a past perfect sentence? ساختارش چطوری میشه؟ خیلی راحت. Had plus past participle of the verb. had رو به اضافه قسمت سوم فعل میکنیم. برای همه فاعل ها هم یکیه. I, you, he, she, it. همه فاعل ها had plus past participle of the main verb. اگه فعل اصلی ما با قاعده باشه خیلی راحت دی یا ایدی اضافه میشه. اگه بی قاعده باشه همون لیست افعال بی قاعده هستن که باید حفظ باشه. For how long had he practiced before he sang in the competition? For how long had he practiced before he sang in the competition? He had practiced for 6 months before he sang in the competition. He had practiced for 6 months before he sang in the competition. The next question. Had he practiced before he sang in the competition? Had he practiced before he sang in the competition? Yes, he had. Yes, he had. He had practiced before he sang in the competition. He had practiced before he sang in the competition. جمله‌مون رو جایگذاری کنیم با we. همونطور که گفتم برای همه فاعل ها این ساختار یکسانه. So we have to say we had practiced for 6 months before we sang in the competition. We had practiced for 6 months before we sang in the competition. جمله رو جایگذاری کنیم با you. حالا میخوایم منفیش هم بکنیم. میخوایم بگیم شما قبل از اینکه تو مسابقه بخونید 6 ماه تمرین نکرده بودین. چون اینجا ساختار ما هست had plus past participle، در واقع had اینجا فعل کمکیه و ما ناتمون رو میچسبونیم به فعل کمکیمون. پس باید بشه You hadn't practiced for 6 months before you sang in the competition. You hadn't practiced for 6 months before you sang in the competition. نکته بعدی اینه که با هم اومدن زمان ماضی بعید و ماضی ساده خیلی زیاد اتفاق میفته. چون 2 تا اتفاقی در واقع 2 تا اتفاق هم تو گذشته افتادن، یکی قبلتر از اون یکیه. به خاطر همین خیلی میبینیم که past perfect با past simple بیاد توی انگلیسی. The next sentence. John's friend was watching him. John's friend was watching him. دوست جان در حال تماشای او بود. این زمان هم توی ویدیوهای قبلی در موردش صحبت کردیم. کاری که در گذشته در یک زمانی در گذشته در حال انجامش بودیم در واقع میشه past continuous. گذشته استمراری. ساختار گذشته استمراری چی بود؟ was or were plus main verb plus ing. was or were فعل اصلی و ing. اگه فاعلمون he, she, it یا یکی اسمی که بشه با اینها جایگزین بشه باشه was می آوردیم، برای I هم was می آوردیم، در غیر این صورت were می آوردیم. اینجا John's friend یک نفر، سوم شخص مفرد. So John's friend was watching him. Who was watching him? John's friend was watching him. Who was watching him? John's friend was watching him. Was his friend watching him? Was his friend watching him? Yes, he was. He was watching him. Yes, he was. He was watching him. باز هم جمله‌مون رو جایگذاری کنیم با Mary. Mary's friend was watching her. Mary's friend was watching her. چون فاعل از در واقع اسم ما از یک مذکر به مؤنث تغییر پیدا کرده، her به جای him باید بیاد. Look at. میخوایم با look at جایگذاری کنیم. میشه Mary's friend was looking at her. Mary's friend was looking at her. میخوایم حالا منفیش کنیم. فعل کمکی ما اینجا was هست. پس میدونیم not باید به فعل کمکی بچسبه و بشه Mary's friend wasn't looking at her. Mary's friend wasn't looking at her. Before that night, he had never seen John sing. Before that night, he had never seen John sing. قبل از اون شب هرگز ندیده بود که جان آواز بخونه. او هرگز ندیده بود، منظورم همون دوست جان هست. داریم در مورد یک اتفاقی که قبل تر از یه اتفاق دیگه. اون that night گذشته هست خودش. میخوایم بگیم که قبل از اون شب توی گذشته اصلا همین چیزی رو ندیده بود. What had he never seen before that night? What had he never seen before that night? He had never seen John sing. He had never seen John sing. The next question, had he seen John sing before that night? Had he seen John sing before that night? No, he hadn't. He had never seen John sing before that night. No, he hadn't. He had never seen John sing before that night. had به اضافه قسمت سوم فعل. اینجا فعل اصلیمون دیدن هست که قسمت سومش میشه seen. حالا میخوایم بگیم هرگز این اتفاق نیفتاده بود. had never. از قید never بین had و قسمت سوم استفاده میکنیم. جمله رو جایگذاری کنیم با play. play یک فعل با قاعده هست، پس خیلی راحت پس پارتیسیپلش باید ایدی بگیره. Before that night he had never seen John play. اینجا اصلا به play میخواستیم بگیم که قبل از اون شب ندیده بود که جان بتونه بازی کنه. اینجا همون دیدن برای ما مد نظره، پس به play احتیاجی نداشتیم. He had never seen John play. با hear شنیدن. Before that night he had never heard John play. He had never heard John play. اینجا چون میخوایم فعل اصلیمون از دیدن به شنیدن تغییر بدیم، قسمت سوم hear هم میشه heard. ندیده بود که جان بازی کنه، نشنیده بود میخوام که جان بازی کنه. Let's move to the next sentence. In fact, John had never sung in front of anyone before the competition. In fact, John had never sung in front of anyone before the competition. باز هم دقت کنید ساختار had never sung. ساختار اصلیمون که بود had به اضافه past participle. past participle sing میشد song. وقتی never میخواستیم بیاریم بین had و past participle میومد. تا اینجا این درست. حالا بیایم ساختار این در واقع استفاده past perfect رو با هم بررسی کنیم. اتفاقی که توی گذشته افتاده اون مسابقه بوده. اتفاقی که قبل از اون مسابقه توی گذشته اومده اینه که هرگز قبل از اون مسابقه جلوی کسی آواز نخونده بود. به خاطر همین قبل از اون اتفاق در گذشته past perfect باید استفاده کنیم. قبل از مسابقه این اتفاق هرگز نیفتاده بود. What had John never done? What had John never done? He had never sung in front of anyone before the competition. He had never sung in front of anyone before the competition. The next question. Had John sung in front of anyone before the competition? Had John sung. in front of anyone before the competition? No, he hadn't. No, he hadn't. He had never sung in front of anyone before the competition. He had never sung in front of anyone before the competition. جمله‌مون رو جایگذاری کنیم با practice. practice. میخوایم بگیم که قبل از اون شب، قبل از مسابقه هرگز جلوی کسی تمرین نکرده بود. In fact, John had never practiced. به خاطر اینکه practice با قاعده است فقط یه دی اضافه کردیم. Had never practiced in front of anyone before the competition. در واقع قبل از مسابقه جان هرگز در مقابل کسی تمرین نکرده بود. Study, exam. Study, exam. میخوایم بگیم که قبل از اون جلوی هیچ کس برای امتحان درس نخونده بود. قبل از امتحان جلوی هیچ کس تا حالا درس نخونده بود. In fact, John had never studied in front of anyone before the exam. In fact, John had never studied in front of anyone before the exam. در واقع قبل از امتحان جان هرگز در مقابل کسی درس نخونده. در واقع کسی اصلا درس خوندنش رو ندیده بوده. The next sentence. After everyone had sung, the judges announced the winners. After everyone had sung, the judges announced the winners. اینجا هم ساختار ما هست had sung. نکته مهم اینه که باز هم دقت کنید اول کدوم اتفاق افتاده بعداً کدوم اتفاق افتاده. به این در واقع به ترتیب زمانی خیلی باید دقت کنید. What did the judges do after everyone had sung? What did the judges do after everyone had sung? They announced the winners. They announced the winners. در واقع ترتیب رو برای این خدمتتون عرض کردم که گفتیم اگه یه چیز قبل از یه چیز دیگه تو گذشته اتفاق بیفته اون میشه past perfect. اینجا چه چیزی قبلتر اتفاق افتاده؟ اول همه خوندن کامل، بعدش برنده ها اعلام شدن. پس خوندن آواز توسط همه قبلتر از اعلام برنده ها اتفاق افتاده. به خاطر همین اون آواز خوندن همه با past perfect گفته شده. The next question. Did the judges announce the losers after everyone had sung? Did the judges announce the losers after everyone had sung? No, they hadn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. The judges announced the winners. No, they didn't. The judges announced the winners. در واقع اینجا باید باشه no they didn't به خاطر اینکه جمله ما با سوال ما با did هست. No they didn't. The judges announced the winners. No they didn't. جمله رو جایگذاری کنیم با losers. Losers بازنده ها. After everyone had sung, the judges announced the losers. After everyone had sung, the judges announced the losers. منفیش میخوایم بکنیم. در واقع میخوایم بگیم بعد از اینکه همه خوندن داورها بازنده ها رو اعلام نکردن. After everyone had sung, the judges didn't announce the losers. After everyone had sung, the judges didn't announce the losers. didn't اومده پس فعل اصلی ما دیگه دی نمیگیره. John won. John won. جان برنده شد. یه اتفاقی که تو گذشته افتاد و تمام شد. Who won? کی برنده شد؟ John won. Who won? John won. Did John lose? Did John lose? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. John won. John won. John won رو با John lose با فعل lose جایگذاری کنیم. فعل lose تو گذشته چون بی‌قاعده است میشه lost. John lost. John lost. با go گذشتهش میشه went. John went. John went. میخوایم منفیش کنیم. didn't نیاز داریم. John didn't go. بعد از didn't فعل اصلی به صورت ساده. John didn't go. He was the best singer in the competition. He was the best singer in the competition. بهترین خواننده تو مسابقه بود. Who was the best singer in the competition? Who was the best singer in the competition? John was the best singer in the competition. John was the best singer in the competition. هم گذشته ساده است. Was John the best singer in the competition? Was John the best singer in the competition? Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was the best singer in the competition. He was the best singer in the competition. He was the best singer in the competition رو با they جایگذاری کنیم. وقتی فاعل از سوم شخص مفرد به جمع تبدیل میشه به جای was باید were بیاریم. They were the best singers in the competition. چون جمع شدن بهترین خواننده ها. They were the best singers in the competition. میخوایم منفی کنیم. میدونیم که not باید بچسبه به were. They weren't the best singers in the competition. They weren't the best singers in the competition. میخوایم بگیم بدترین ها تو مسابقه نبودن. They weren't the worst singers in the competition. They weren't the worst singers in the competition. John said he had never practiced so hard before. John said he had never practiced so hard before. جان یه چیزی گفته که میخواد بگه قبل از اینکه اون لحظه‌ای که داشته میگفته میخواد بگه قبلتر هرگز انقدر سخت تمرین نکرده بودم. به خاطر همین این رو با زمان past perfect میاریم. What did John say? What did John say? He said he had never practiced so hard before. He said he had never practiced so hard before. Had John practiced so hard before? Had John practiced so hard before? No, he hadn't. No, he hadn't. He had never practiced so hard before. He had never practiced so hard before. بازم جمله‌مون رو جایگذاری می‌خوایم بکنیم با Rose. به جای John می‌خوایم بگیم Rose. Rose said she had never practiced so hard before. Rose said she had never practiced so hard before. به خاطر اینکه به جای جان که مذکر روز آوردیم ضمیرمونم از he تبدیل میشه به she. Study. Rose said she had never studied. Study فعل با قاعده است که past participleش هم ایدی میگیره. Rose said she had never studied so hard before. He was glad he had practiced a lot. He was glad he had practiced a lot. خوشحال بود که خیلی تمرین کرده بود. Why was he glad? Why was he glad? He was glad because he had practiced a lot. He was glad because he had practiced a lot. Had he practiced a little? Had he practiced a little? No, he hadn't. He had practiced a lot. No, he hadn't. He had practiced a lot. جمله‌مون رو جایگذاری می‌کنیم با sad and not. در واقع sad رو می‌خوایم بیاریم و منفی کنیم جمله‌مون رو. قسمت دومش رو می‌خوایم بگیم ناراحت بود چون زیاد تمرین نکرد. یعنی در واقع ناراحت بود که زیاد تمرین نکرده بود. He was sad he hadn't practiced a lot. He was sad he hadn't practiced a lot. می‌خوایم با tell the truth بگیم که ناراحت بود که حقیقت رو نگفته بود. He was sad he hadn't told the truth. He was sad he hadn't told the truth. The past participle of tell is told. خب داستانمون رو به صورت پشت سر هم یک بار بخونیم. همونطور که من میخونم و شما هم دارین گوش میدین زمانها رو برای خودتون مرور کنید. Last night John sang in a competition. He sang a beautiful song. He had practiced for 6 months before he sang in the competition. John's friend was watching him. Before that night, he had never seen John sing. In fact, John had never sung in front of anyone before the competition. After everyone had sung, the judges announced the winners. John won. He was the best singer in the competition. John said he had never practiced so hard before. He was glad he had practiced a lot. این داستان ما بود. طبق روال ویدیوهای قبلی یک چند تا مثال هم باز با هم جاگذاری کنیم که بیشتر توی ذهنمون و بهتر توی ذهنمون نقش ببنده. I had watched that show before. I had watched that show before. منفیش کنیم. I hadn't watched that show before. I hadn't watched that show. Number 2. We had texted each other a lot. We had texted each other a lot. با کال. We had called each other a lot. We had called each other a lot. Had you practiced so hard? Had you practiced so hard? با study که با قاعده است میشه Had you studied so hard? Had you studied so hard? Number 4. What had you told her? What had you told her? با شو که باز با قاعده هست. بی قاعده هست. What had you shown her? What had you shown her? Number 5. You had never tried to help me. You had never tried to help me. با she میدونیم که برای همه ضمیرها همین ساختار، پس جای هیچ نگرانی نیست. She had never tried to help me. She had never tried to help me. He hadn't seen me sing. He hadn't seen me sing. با paint. paint با قاعده است. He hadn't seen me paint. He hadn't seen me paint. باز چون میخوایم بگیم ندیده بود من نقاشی کنم، در واقع اینجا نقاشی باز هم ساده میاد. ندیده بود چون past perfect هست، اون باید به قسمت سوم تغییر پیدا کنه، بشه hadn't seen. Hadn't seen. Hadn't seen someone do something. به خاطر همین این ساختارش هست. Hadn't seen someone do something. به خاطر اینه که paint اینجا ساده اومده، sing بالا ساده اومده. Number 7. The plane had left by the time I got to the airport. The plane had left by the time I got to the airport. میگه به وقتی که نه، وقتی که من به فرودگاه رسیدم هواپیما رفته بود. By the time هم یک اصطلاح زمانی هست که خیلی مفیده. وقتی که معنی سر وقت، اون موقعی که اونجوری معنی میده. The plane had landed by the time I got to the airport. The plane had landed by the time I got to the airport. 8. I had written the email before he apologized. I had written the email before he apologized. قبل از اینکه عذرخواهی کنه نامه رو نوشته بودم. در واقع نامه نوشته شده بود، اون بعداً عذرخواهی کرده. I had sent the email before he apologized. I had sent the email before he apologized. فعل اصلیمون send هست که قسمت سومش یا past participleش میشه sent. Number 9. He had never played football until last week. He had never played football until last week. هرگز تا هفته پیش فوتبال بازی نکرده بود. Visit a museum. Visit a museum. He had never visited a museum until last week. He had never visited a museum until last week. And the last sentence is, we had studied Italian before we moved to Rome. We had studied Italian before we moved to Rome. قبل از اینکه بیایم روم ایتالیایی خونده بودیم. ایتالیایی خونده بودیم معنی بالا، در واقع معنی که بالا نوشته شده مال جمله پایینه. توی جمله گفته قبل از اینکه بیایم روم ایتالیایی خونده بودیم. حالا میخوایم بگیم قبل از اینکه بیایم روم خونه خریده بودیم. We had bought a house before we moved to Rome. We had bought a house before we moved to Rome. پس معنی جمله بالا میشه قبل از اینکه بیایم روم ایتالیایی خونده بودیم. معنی جمله پایین میشه قبل از اینکه بیایم روم خونه رو خریده بودیم. امیدوارم این ویدیو براتون مفید بوده باشه و تونسته باشیم با هم ساختار پست پرفکت رو کامل مرور کرده باشیم. نحوه ساختن سوالها، جملات منفی رو یاد گرفته باشید. اگه ویدیو براتون مفید بود لایک کنید و حتما با دوستاتون به اشتراک بذارید. ممنونم از اینکه باز هم همراه من بودین. روزتون بخیر.